Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of Step Espresso, your daily shot of fitness. I am your host, as always, Johnny Landals from Next Step Nutrition, bringing you the podcast that helps you overcome the industry confusion and get results for life. Today, we're on episode 436. It's important that we understand how our brains work in everyday life, right? Our brains are pretty damn lazy overall. And really, what they like to do is cut corners all the way through our lives. Most of our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are established sequences that are run on autopilot, right? Think about the amount of time and effort you think goes into driving a car, right? You go to your car, you open the door, you make sure it's the right hand side. If you're in the UK, you sit in the car, you stick the key into the ignition, you turn it on, you put it into gear, you make sure you adjust the steering wheel, that thing is round, it's not the cup holder, put your feet on the pedals, shift the gear, put everything in. There's a lot of different things that go into driving cars, right? Once you've learned how to do them, your brain just does it automatically. If your brain had to figure out every single individual step of every single thing that you did, it would run out of energy fast, right? So our brains prefer not to think, they prefer to rely on these emotional behavior sequences that simply need a trigger, like a sight, a sound, a smell, or a situation, right? Think about your brain and your body as a vending machine. A certain trigger is a certain button, the vending machine does its job, selects the appropriate behavior, and does what it needs to do. Now, this is great in daily life when we don't have to think about what we're doing, but it's not so useful when we're trying to change behaviors of a lifetime, especially those around food and around fitness. Now, what we need to then be aware of are what our triggers are. Right, we all have different triggers when it comes to food. We all have different triggers when it comes to fitness. Some foods cause us massively to overeat, some don't. Some situations and situations cause us to do the same thing. Some thoughts or emotions, some physical sensations, some people, some environments. You can literally apply it to anything. And so what we like to work on with our clients is a traffic light system: red, yellow, green. Red light situations are those that really flip you out and put you at your worst. These people, these feelings, these thoughts, these environments, these foods, when one of these comes along, they trigger all of your unwanted behaviors, thoughts, negative self-talk, and it's hard for you to do anything other than the behavior that you don't want to do. So think of red light foods or situations that cause the worst overeating or the worst poor choices, just like an alcohol to an alcoholic, right? One is too many and 1,000 isn't enough. You've then got your yellow light situations, which are in the middle, situations that are sometimes fine, sometimes not. Think about these that, maybe failing a certain exam made you feel stupid, whereas a different exam, it didn't really bother you, right? Chemistry versus English. Maybe there are foods that sometimes trigger poor choices and other times don't, depending on the environment, depending on the situation that you are in. Perhaps you can drink one beer when you're at home alone, but then when you're out with mates, you don't stop until you've had one too many. And then you've got the green lights, which are always fine, right? These situations, these people, these environments, these foods never trigger problematic behaviors or problematic mindset. And in fact, sometimes they trigger better choices. So broccoli, for example, for me, never triggers me to overeat. And actually, I always feel great if I have some greens in my day. I always feel great if I start the day with a protein-filled, fibrous breakfast. And there are certain songs that inspire me to exercise. Now, what you want to do with these, ladies and gents, is learn what your triggers are. It can actually really help for you to make a trigger list. So you can think about red lights, yellow lights, green lights, and literally go through environments, behaviors, situations, people, and go through and think what things trigger your best behavior, what things trigger your worst behavior, and what things are sometimes risky and sometimes not. Because until we build this awareness list of actually what is going on, we'll find ourselves falling down in the same situations over and over again without actually knowing why. And you know us guys here at Next Step Nutrition, we don't believe in banning or restricting or eliminating foods, but if some are triggering you, it's important to know why that is and where this is at its worst, because then once you notice and name this, you can begin to overcome it. Hope you've enjoyed today's episode of Next Step Espresso. If you did, please share it with someone you think will find it useful, or better yet, get it saved onto your Instagram or Facebook story, tag us in it, and let us know that you've been listening to the podcast. Have a great Monday, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for another daily shot of fitness.